Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician channel. And today we're going to be looking at some parts that I purchased for the 3rd gen Camaro. I have an 85, and if you guys follow along with the channel and the Camaro build, we're getting really close to the end of my build. Well, let's be realistic, a project car never really ends, but we're getting to the end of my list of things that I've wanted to do to the Camaro for the last 5 years. I've just ordered basically the last item, that being the rear end. The only thing after that is the drive shaft, get it running, get it wrapped. That's it. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for my rear end to show up, I may or may not have purchased a few random items that were never on my list, and things that a lot of people wouldn't even think about or even look at, but they're things that I thought were kind of interesting, and I wanted them. For being smaller items, they weren't exactly cheap, but I think they're pretty cool. I'll share them with you, and then I'll get them all installed, and I'll show you guys what they look like installed before and after. And other than that, that's really it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of your guys' thoughts on any of these items. I purchased these from Motorsports and Screaming Chicken, so go ahead and check those out. I'll try and have both of those linked down in the description for you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoy. If you guys haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. So here we're looking at some miscellaneous items that we're going to be installing in the Camaro while we're waiting on the rear end to show up. Everything here is from Motorsports or Screaming Chicken, except for this stuff up here. All of this stuff is also made in the USA, minus this stuff up here. I will have an install video on this stuff separately from this. This we'll do today, because that's more of an in-depth video. So just this stuff alone is just over $300, so it's definitely quite a bit for some miscellaneous things that a lot of people wouldn't even look at or notice or anything like that. But they're just some items that I wanted, so I bought them. So first up, a couple items from Motorsports, that being the stainless steel door striker. So here you can see the washers. You get both of those and the strikers themselves. And then they are made in the USA, just like I stated. And then we have the poly rear bump stops for the rear end. You get this billet aluminum piece, and then the poly bump stop itself. This plate gets bolted up in there. These are going to be a little bit taller than what's in there. There's a couple different styles that you'll find in the 3rd gen Camaros. Some that basically just look like this but are rubber, and then you have like this cream colored looking one that almost looks like it's covered in plastic, that's a little bit thicker, almost this thickness, but it does have this cutout here to go around a metal plate in the rear end or the rear of the car. I'll show that to you when we get it installed. And then it comes with the hardware as well. So I want to say the door strikers were $40. The poly bump stops with the billet aluminum and the hardware was $110, and then that was from Motorsports. Now we'll move on to the items that I got from Screaming Chicken, that being this little guy right here. And it is a little billet aluminum piece that replaces your old hazard design button. So it's just simply removing the Phillips head screw from the steering column and screwing this one in. And then the other one we have here replaces the old steering column tilt lever. It looks like the previous owner has removed this a few times, I would say. It looks like he's grabbed it here with pliers, here with pliers, here with pliers. For me, it came out just fine just by hand, probably because they butchered it up a few times, I'm guessing. But this goes ahead and replaces that. It's a little bit shorter. And each one of those were actually pretty cheap. I want to say this was $8 to $10, and then this was $16 or $17. So not bad there. Another thing is Screaming Chicken has a few of these available in different designs, and you can get them in just bare metal. I got mine in black anodized, and this is LG Billet USA, made in the USA. And these were like $100 if you get them plain, or $110 black anodized. The only difference from this and what I ordered, or what I thought I was ordering, was that I thought this was machined out to be silver. There's actually the American flag in there, if you see it, kind of laser engraved in there. I thought that was going to be silver, you know, kind of pop out, but it's just black anodized as well. But I think either way, it's going to look really nice. It's not something, you know, 95% of people around my vehicle are going to notice, but I thought they were really nice, and I want to replace the ones that are in there. Plus, with the system I just installed in the Camaro, my plastic ones rattle around a lot and make a lot of noise, so these should make a lot less noise. It's a really nice piece. Well, it better be for $100 to $110. That's all of the stuff from Hawks and Screaming Chicken, and then this stuff I just bought off Amazon. That being a 5-pack of relays, 4-pin relays, rated at 40 amps. They're waterproof or watertight. So they're sealed here with rubber at the bottom. Has a rubber ring around here. Your 4 pins and the relay in the top. Nice heavy duty. Seems well built. Then you have 12 gauge here and 16 gauge here. And I got a pack of 5. Raft City. I've heard of them before. You know, they're not like anything like fantastic, like made in the USA, but for an affordable relay, especially for 5 of them, I want to say I paid like $20 or $25 for them. 40 or 30 amp, 4-pin waterproof relay. And it does come with some instructions, and depending on how you wire it up and all that, simple. But I'll have a video separate on this, because what we're going to be doing is I have a push button start in the Camaro, but when I tied into the existing ignition wire, I think I bypassed the original relay that's in the car. So I had the switch, back when it was a V6, I had the switch, my push button switch, kick a couple times, and if I remember correctly, I want to say if I remember correctly, the wiring was getting warm, and that's something that really scares me, because I've put a lot of money into this car now, and the last thing I want trying to start this V8, especially for the first time, I know it's going to take a lot to get it going. The last thing I want to do is overheat the wiring, overheat the switch, and, you know, burn up wiring, burn up the switch, or worst case scenario, burn my car to the ground. So I want to put the starter with the push button on a relay to kind of make that situation a little bit safer. So we'll be installing a relay on the starter wiring to the push button. And then I also bought some inline fuses. These are 30 amp fuses with 12 gauge wiring, and I bought a pack of those because they're always handy to have. That's why I got a few of each, just in case, because I've installed, I don't know, probably 5 or so relays in this Camaro, and it's just handy to have some on hand. So that's it as far as the items. Now we're going to go ahead and get a majority of this stuff installed, and then I'll have an install video of that separately. So I hope you guys enjoy. So the first install was the Screaming Chicken aluminum steering column lever and hazard knob. Now for the steering column tilt lever, I did have to kind of chase the threads, clean them up a little bit. I think from them installing and removing the old one so many times, this one was having a hard time, and you don't want to strip this out. So I went ahead and cleaned up the threads, and it screwed right in. I think it looks really good. Works nicely. And then here's the little hazard switch. You just simply push in and pull out, and that one just simply screwed in. No issues with the threads or anything like that on that. So let's go ahead and get some of the other stuff installed. Here's the old striker, and I see here it's a little bit thicker. It looks like there's 2 washers here, so I may take the back one and paint it black and then install the stainless steel one on top of that. We'll just see how that goes. And then here is the old door jamb vent, plastic, kind of moves around. It's just held in by a fastener up top. This is 7mm. So we got them out. Like I said, that was just 7mm fastener here. This is a T50. So here's the old vent compared to the new one. Quite a bit thinner. I think it'll look pretty nice. And then here's the old striker. It had 2 extra washers on the back. I may not even worry about painting them. And then it had this little protective plastic behind it, so I'll run that behind it. And then what is nice, even though I don't need those spacers, this does thread on there. You can adjust it that way, so it would be tight like that, but I am just going to run it all the way on and run these 2 washers with it and see if it lines up fine that way, and then if I need to adjust it, I will. So like I said, this was a T50 Torx, and the new stainless steel one is actually a 1/4 inch Allen. So we got that in. We used the 2 existing washers on the backside, and it fits perfectly. The door shuts and opens nice and crisply, so that is nice. The door jamb vents are going to take a little bit of modification, not really modification, but just some adjustment. So with these, you just have some tabs at the bottom that sit on the inside, and then it's just the one fastener at the top. Well, when this is in here, it fits perfectly. Fits nicely. My hole's a little wallered out up here, so I can't use the Phillips head screw. I'm gonna have to use the 7mm fastener. No big deal. But even when it's tightened down, the bottom can move in and out a little bit. This has the tabs just like the other one, but there's a little bit more space there between the front portion and that tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run around this entire lip, around the side here, and in between here I'm going to put some 3M double-sided tape to kind of sound deaden it and tighten it up while it's in here. But other than that, that's it. As far as the door strikers, they went in, nothing wrong with that, easy, but I did have to clean up the threads on the backing plate with the actual threads back here. I had to run a tap through it just to clean up the threads a little bit. I didn't want to cross thread or anything, just like the steering column one. So that's it. We're gonna go ahead and get the 3M tape on here, and we'll go ahead and get it installed. So got them installed. Looks really nice. No movement. Nice and solid now. Now we are going to be working on the rear bump stops, which are located right here. Yours might look like this, or it might be like the whitish cream looking bump stop. But either way, it's just these 2 fasteners here, and then we'll fit the new poly bump stops in. Okay, so the new bump stops are in. They're slightly, I'd say about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch lower than the original bump stops. Kind of tucks up in there. It kind of has a groove in the bump stop. Mine's filled with dirt, as you can tell. That goes around this lip here, and that's why this billet piece is here to get the bump stop lower than it. And then it's still got some decent material here that brings it down a little bit lower. But overall, install was easy. It was a 13mm fastener to remove, and the new fasteners are 12mm. And just snug those up. Simple enough. I may remove them, actually kind of repaint some of this with the undercoating. Just a little bit of dirt on there, clean that off and spray them up. But other than that, install was super easy. All this stuff was super easy to install. So we got new poly bump stops in the rear, the new door jamb vents and stainless steel strikers, and then we got the hazard knob and the tilt adjust. All of them super easy to install, a little spendy, all billet aluminum, stainless steel, and poly items, so all miscellaneous little tiny items. But next up, we're going to be replacing this stock 10-bolt rear end with the Hawks 8.8, and I hope you guys enjoy. We'll also be replacing the lower control arms, pan hard bar, upper pan hard bar. We'll be installing a sway bar. Mine doesn't actually have a sway bar, so we'll be doing a lot of swapping out for new stuff. We'll do new brake lines, disc brakes, new e-brake cable, and all of that. So stay tuned for that video. And then we'll also be doing coilovers, so quite a bit to come. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below of your guys' thoughts, and as always, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. See you guys next time.